once again to our leadership family. We want to thank God for y'all being here with us today. We're back for another episode of From Leadership to Legacy. I'm Antoine Butler, and I have here with me Marcus Pierre, and we're super excited to be back with y'all again for one more episode of Leadership to Legacy. Listen, I'm super excited about what we're going to be talking about today because you all that are listening to us, you all are part of our community and family, and we believe that we are helping every person to come into a realization of their leadership potential and responsibility. And today we got an exciting topic. We're going to be talking about character development. We talked a little bit about that last episode, so we're going to really get into the nuts and bolts of it today. So I hope that y'all have something to write with, that y'all are going to be good students of the information that we're going to dish out today, and y'all going to write some of these things down. So I'm excited about it, and I know there's going to be something that's going to be beneficial and it's going to be a blessing to your life. Are you excited about it today?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I believe, of course, as we discussed last time, character is the foundation of leadership. And what we want to talk about today is how to lay that foundation, how to develop good character. Because anytime we talk about character, it can be positive or negative. But for this purpose and the leaders that we're speaking to, we're speaking of good character.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about character, and I know last episode, I think the information that you brought to the community was profound. As a matter of fact, when we were talking about leadership, and Marcus was telling us about the importance of having character. And ever since that show, I've been thinking about the principles and the concepts of developing a leader. And at the top of that list continues to be character. So just thinking about our last episode, and I was thinking about the information that I was going to bring to you all today. I had a definition of character, and I want to see what you thought about it, Marcus. I wrote down character is the foundation upon which the structure of our talent and our life can be built. And then I thought about this: if there's a crack in that foundation, then I can't build much, right? So for me, it's the foundation upon which the structure of our talent and our life can be built. And I used the word talent because sometimes people think that talent alone is enough, right? And talent can take you to a certain place, but if you have character, the character can't keep you there. So you might be talented, you might be gifted, right? But your talent and your gift aren't the building blocks for what's going to keep you and help you to be a great leader. Character is that substratum, it's that foundation from which your gifts and your talents should be resting. So I was thinking about your definition and thinking about what you taught us on the last time that we met. And for me, that's really what character speaks. I want to be very careful that my gifts and my talents aren't what I'm building my leadership upon.
Yeah, I really love that because, like you said, it's what it's built upon. And you're going to be known by your character. And like you said, if there's a crack in your character or in your foundation, no, you cannot put a lot on it. And, for me, I look at before you can actually get to the height of something, before you can actually rise to a great promotion and be promoted, you do have to establish and maintain good character. And when employers promote people before that person had a chance to establish their character, that's when you have maybe a decline in business or sales go down or the business is not flowing like it should be, is because a person cannot handle the pressure of making right decisions. And one of the things that I realize about good character, and if you're writing, please write this down. Good character is not the result of good intentions. It's the result of good decisions.
Good decisions.
Yes, sir.
Say that again.
Good character is not the result of good intentions. It's the result of good decisions.
Wow.
And that is why I like what you said, because your decision making is how you build.
Right.
And if you have poor decision making or you have poor character,
right,
then when the pressure's on you, whether it be popularity or whether it be something that kind of goes against the status quo, you're more apt to compromise,
right,
if you don't have strong character. People with character, they're really stuck in their ways,
right,
ethically speaking.
Right. And that could be a good thing.
That's
right?
a great thing.
Right.
A person with character, when to say yes, and you know when to say no.
Right.
That's why I like what you said, man,
Right.
because you're only going to go as high as your character allows you to go.
Right.
And sometimes we see it. People get to a certain place in their life, and then all of a sudden that pressure's on them, and then they start falling and start
Right.
making decisions based off of old habits, things of that nature. They compromise.
Right.
But I know that's not the leaders that we're speaking to.
Right.
Because we want to develop good character.
Right. I think sometimes, and I was looking at that word character. Sometimes when we hear, like in our modern day terms, we hear the word character, and it really that's two compound words together, right? So when we hear the word character, we think of somebody who's acting, or we think about somebody who's putting on a performance, right? And sometimes we think of those in in negative terms, because usually when we see somebody in character or in role or in play, it's not usually synonymous of who they really are. But initially and traditionally, that word character was supposed to be a good thing. It was supposed to be who you turn yourself into to guard against your values and your morals. It was supposed to be your defense against things that came into your life that weren't in alignment with where you were trying to build to. So I love what you said, and I think the thing that's coming out of this conversation between you and I is a foundation and building. And I
Absolutely.
think those core values are really important. I was thinking about this, Pastor. So what happens? Like, so somebody's listening to us today and they're saying, okay, I want to work on my character. I know I might not be up to this point in my life a person who would have what we would consider good character. So maybe what would be like the first step that you would give to somebody who needs to develop healthy character, maybe good character?
Okay. I think the first step is establishing your values. You said it earlier about like core values. Most companies have core values, things that govern decision making for a company. They're not going to make any decisions outside of those values. You have to look at yourself like that. You know, what do I really value? What's important to me? Because a person that really can verbalize, write out, and even put into a sentence form of like your values, you're more apt to practice those things. And I think good character, we discussed it, is a result of actions, is a result of decision making. So once you define what it is you value, like a person that values marriage, the decision making when it comes around to infidelity or extramarital affairs, that person is not struggling with that because what they value will govern decisions that they make. And a lot of times we allow other people values to become our values. And that's where a lot of times people struggle at, is because they're trying to make decisions off of something that they really, truly, really don't value. And that's where that struggle comes in. And that's why, you know, sometimes people have a hard time sleeping at night, you know, because the decisions that they're making is not congruent. So I believe the first thing is you have to determine what you value, you know, and when you determine that, it now limits your decision making. It makes it easier, I should say, to make the right decision. Not saying that it is going to be just automatic. You're going to make that right decision, but a person that knows what they value, it's going to be a little bit more easier. That's what I would say. Determine your values. For me, you know, I put my values on something that is time tested, something that is strong, something that is not changing. Don't put it on something that's ficky, something that's just going to change with the wind. My values are upon the Word of God. You know, and that's where my values come from. And so for me, when I make decisions, that's what I funnel my decisions through. How does it line up to this? Not how does it make me feel? How does it measure up to my values? And that's how you develop good character.
I love something you said. You said, not based on the way that I feel, because we know sometimes emotions can be up and down. So in other words, what you're telling us is that those values will safeguard. They will create a point of immobility of what we believe in, what we love, what we care for. When our emotions want to go left, when they want to go right. I love that. I was listening to you. I was thinking about the importance of having an identity. with character development. I think sometimes people want to be other people, and I don't think sometimes that's a bad idea. Before we started this show, I got a phone call from somebody, and they were saying, like I want to be like you. And I think what they were saying is, I want to have some of the outcomes that you have. But those outcomes come from a value system, and that value system comes from character. So we both work in the mental health field. And one of the things that we learned in mental health is that most mental illness comes from people's lack of who they are and how they're behaving. When those two things become incompatible, that leads to mental health challenges. In other words, you can't behave differently than the way that you see yourself. The way that you see yourself is based on your value system. It's your character is who you really are. So sometimes people have an idea of who they want to be, of how or how they want to behave, but they really don't see themselves in that light. We have an affinity sometimes to look at other people and say, man, they got it together, and I wish I could be them, but we don't really believe those things about ourselves. So
that's good.
Identity is important. And Pastor, how important do you think people's identity is in character development? And if you don't mind sharing, maybe your own personal testimony of how you develop your identity over the years.
I believe that when you say identity, remember we go all the way back to the root word of character. It deals with the mark, or how you're actually identified. So I think when you're developing good character, I think you have to have a vision of what it is you want to be, or what it is you want to accomplish. And I think when you're developing character, yes, you are developing your identity. What do you want to be known for? Do you want to be a person that is known to be honest, known to be a person of integrity, known to be a person that can be trusted, a person that is consistent? And I believe that's what helps you to make those decisions, because you're actually shooting at a target. And for me, that has always, when I really understood personal development, and I really got into that place of wanting to make sure that I was the best person that I can be, I have a image, I have a mindset of, okay, This is what I want to do. I want somebody to be able to say, I can count on him. He's predictable.
Wow.
He's consistent. Wow. He's not 1 minute I'm good, 1 minute I'm next. Like, I don't want to be the type of person where they say, hey, watch out. You don't know what type of side of the bed he woke up on. So for me, that has been that thing that I'm examining myself. And I don't examine myself based off the next person. I examine myself based off of what I want to be known for. Gotcha. And that has been how I actually go about developing my good characters, because I have an image in mind. I have a goal in mind, and we talk about from leadership to legacy.
Right.
And for me, that's always in the forefront of my mind.
Right.
As in, I don't want to be a person that just talks a good talk. I want to be a person that makes good decisions. And I believe when you have good character, although you might grow personally, although you might develop professionally, fundamentally, you're not going to change. Right. And I think that's where we're really resting on is that foundation. Right. Because life is going to hit you with different things. Right. You're going to learn different skills. You're going to learn more talents and things of that nature. But fundamentally, your internal compass cannot compromise. Right. There's just certain things that I just will not do. Right. Certain things I just will not say. Right. Certain places I just will not go. Right. And it is not based off of others. It's more so based off of my long-term goal. Right. And I think that's really how I have went about growing my personal character. And and I think you have to define what good means. Right. With character development, because just like somebody says success is different for the next person. Right. So for you guys and the community leaders that we're speaking to, I really want you to take some time and write down what you value. I think it'd be important that you take some time, write it down on a tablet, and then how am I behaving according to that? And you'll realize some things that you might be doing, you'll realize that is really not helping develop good character. Yeah. And good character development, you got to be around good people.
Yeah.
It almost governs who you associate with.
Yeah.
Governs where you go. Governs what you do,
Right.
what you choose to listen to. Because when you have something in mind, it helps to know where you're going, I believe.
Right. Well said. Marcus, we have about a minute left. I'm gonna do a final thought, and I want to get your final thought,
Okay.
and we're gonna let the people go. I wanted to share this with you. Character can take you a lifetime to build, but you can lose it in a moment. Please safeguard it with your life, because overnight you can lose it, and character is something that you make an investment in. And Marcus has been talking about it. He's probably said the word 5 or 6 times. He said it was a decision. So we have to make a decision to safeguard the things that we work for. So leaders, we guard our character.
And I just, of course, like what you said, it takes a lifetime, but it's every decision. It's not something that you turn on and turn off. Character is who you are in private as well as who you are publicly. And I want to encourage you to take time to evaluate, take time to examine where do you notice any cracks in your character, showing up to work on time, things of that nature. It speaks for you. People are going to see what you do even before, even after you say certain things.
Wow.
So let your actions correspond and relate to what it is you want to be known for.
Powerful.
So you can leave a legacy.
Powerful. Well, we thank y'all so much for watching one more episode from Leadership to Legacy. Listen, we need for you all to subscribe. We're going to be bringing you more information, so please subscribe to the YouTube channel and share when you have an opportunity. All right, y'all, take care. You all be blessed.